Hello everyone, this is Final Voice TV. Final Voice TV, as I bound champion. You'll be discussing issues pertaining to Ghana's development. So we want all the youth, whether you are MPP or NDC, it doesn't matter. Come onto the show, comment on the show, and let's discuss something. And then share the bailout IMF, Diama Ghana. They are share BRICS countries or more initiative about their gold-saving policies and or more supposed currency our person or more they buy out. Near Ghana stand and what Ghana can do to capitalize on some of these things to advance or progress. To Final Voice TV about champion. Yentie some audios be.
My papa abandoned person. There's no doubt about that. So because they say 11 years IMF wabodam. Hey, oh, I make an year. That's actually in hot. Because I'm pempe, and I didn't pay for not dream hot. Also, Obi or Becca's 11 year papa. Young co IMF no, not wabodam. I'm telling you, the person is smart. Only say 2 hash. And your hash. Pempe, yes, in the pain. Ghana ya call IMF 17 times.
So what you assume? We run MPP are buying the e-levy bar, and they think that going to IMF is not the solution. I do agree with them. So going to the IMF is not the major solution that Ghana needs now. Yes, 90-second audio.
Mr. Speaker, the e-levy is also going to help with the fiscal consolidation effort and reduce the debt levels of our country. And that also means that we are going to see an improved economic ratings and not returning to the International Monetary Fund, which is the only solution our friends on the other side have always preferred. Why don't you go to the IMF? Go to the IMF. We have shown that we have alternatives to building the economy of this country without resorting to conditionalities that will be imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today. We will not go to IMF tomorrow. And we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power. Mr. Speaker, looking beyond the e-levy, government is further taking steps to cushion Ghanaians against the hardship caused as a result of the twin crises of COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. To this end, fuel prices are expected to go down by 1 cedi following the engagement between the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distribution.
So, to audio, we are clear that they never wish to go to the IMF. The MPP government never. Where Yera John Kuma and Eka said they will not go to the IMF because no more money have to e-levy. So tax no to get the money that will be gotten no will be enough for Ghana's growth. But Uncle Basa, we all saw what happened. So they have to go to the IMF. But what's your speech now? Mr. Speaker now.
Our friends on the other side have always preferred. Why don't you go to the IMF? Go to the IMF. We have shown that we have alternatives to building the economy of this country without resorting to conditionalities that will be imposed on this country. We will not go to the IMF today. We will not go to IMF tomorrow. And we are not going as long as the NPP remains in power.
And Timrana NDC, minority no A2MPP. Majority caucus never so IMF no. Now minority ni say no man koye just like any other Ghanaian knows no man yede enkoye. And no man rep no man as saying. And Ghana a member of IMF. Ghana a member of IMF. So Ghana can go to IMF for rescue. This whole IMF thing we will be discussed later. But not a just omoko. But ahomaso, the arrogance, the pride, thinking say e-levy will solve the problem, no? And the kofa sans something in a day. A buy. Uti a year or say only a mad person will go to IMF. They are not mad people. So one tia, I bet my sabon beam Amwati. Kosiche of Kumasi MPP communicator and stalwart Bakon.
My papa abandoned person or your man. 11 no debia about the boy. There's no doubt about that. So because they say 11 year young cock IMF wabodam. Hey, oh, I make an ear. That's actually in hot. Me can't say me pempe. And I didn't pay for. Not dream hot. Also, Obi or Obaka say 11 in your papa. Young cock IMF no. Not wabodam. I'm telling you, the person is smart. Only say 2 hash. And your hash. Pempe yes in the pain. Ghana ya call IMF 70.
So that was their stand. Nti ekobane say ye bedi hu komo. Yentie finance minister nankasa mu when Ghanaians were saying say things are very difficult. They should act fast. They should act quicker. When people were advising the MPP government to go to IMF, maybe the IMF can salvage Ghana's situation. No, Yentie the finance minister himself said.
But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community, murmuring, you can't, da 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 da. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there, as my colleague. But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources. We have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you.
So this was the finance minister himself. Or minor photo some for no. Or say dia Ghana or say Ghana ko IMF. Ghana or Japadie. Ghana or resources in good year. You will be beer or didn't know say ko World Bank. Ya said the 11 class have a peso. Tie ko World Bank akoye day. Yentie the boss man Abronye DC is was more kind before Ghana even went to the IMF. When people were crying for help, when people were saying to go to the IMF because Ghana is a member of IMF, probably there could be a solution as to whether going to IMF is a good idea or not. And we will look at it. But Yentie Abronye.
Adwena ye di bu o man ni ho. Elise okọ IMF ko kire say minim nyansa nti mumwa me na memu man.
IMF nsa na kire.
Na ga wo de say na kire.
IMF.
E kire say me wa kire me. Nti mumwa me.
Asa ho kire de amfa be biare.
O ka kire Ghana fo fe onim dia obebu man.
Once again, tie the Abronye sa kan.
Adwena ye di bu o man ni ho. Elise okọ IMF ko kire say minim nyansa nti mumwa me na memu man.
IMF nsa na kire.
Na ga wo de say na kire.
IMF.
E kire say me wa kire me. Nti mumwa me.
Asa ho kire de amfa be biare.
O ka kire Ghana fo fe onim dia obebu man.
Yeah, nti pain was in pain. This is what was the stand of MPP for penny for and communicators. And no come my who's IMF calling company, wa bako 1, wa bodam, 2 young cohon and coachna. Wa wadune, a more, wa want me more mine. Wa only mamma moon bako IMF. A debatable, we'll look at it, but yeah, what audience when we want to know the earlier stand of this government of Ghana. Ghana could do IMF. IMF so I approve $3 billion for Ghana. A dear now so money, yeah. We focus, show waited through the person we know discuss of gratitude. India na me like I'm live today speaking to you and say, a dear no mind Ghana beating me aye. There were few things to say about Ghana's IMF. Sika omu approval and our Ghana's IMF deal. The money will come in tranches. The money is to come in tranches. But to see a kakra bano any the baba later. Dear no was a Ghana buying it me. first thing I will say it me cut off wastage. Corruption and wastage, and you deal with the wastage in the system or the corruption now, you better. The wastage in the system need too much. Shraj boss, I can't be cultural. So year we lose $3 billion. The same money that Ghana is going to IMF for now. We lose the same $3 billion every year to graft. $3 billion gone down the drain every year. You won't be a such canifa. You can just Google. Shraj boss says Ghana loses $3 billion to graft each year. That will pop up for you. Daily Graphic published this. Sikana woko IMF akojeno. Wa ukromu hono. Ye biya se sikane fani pansase. Se sikane fani pansase ya ye mu bebe se sikane ko. Can't we deal with this? Can't we fight the corruption and wastage in Ghana? Sabi ye be successful near growers or minor. It's not about going to IMF all the time. This is the 17th time. Or money the eternity. Let's cut wastage and corruption. That is the way to go. You better Ghana do kunimi, you better Ghana fund to me fra. Ghana develop said you better ye na. Wastage need too much. Until we cut down the corruption, fight corruption and cut the wastage and the mismanagement, we can never achieve our goals as a nation. Let's invest in technology. So IMF no kono be ehia na ye kono so omeme loan. It is kind ba. IMF me is say the bar. Let's try as much as we can and invest in technology. We have local factories, local industries. Let's ask ourselves what kind of technology that can help these local factories. Until Ghana invests in technology to advance local industries and factories, until we do that to create more jobs and make production becomes more easier, there are more factories are producing near. How can students sit in their senior high schools and say they don't get food to eat? Ghana, ubia, bibiye, almost everything, every crop, cultivate every vegetable or crop everywhere in Ghana. Then it mean the policy be bus free school and cranko school free. Ama ebimunya biko. Nefo koduru school mo say we are not being fed. Not Charles Ghana Headmaster Association for Akosia say nkwane. Let's invest in technology. Government Plenty for Food and Jobs program was a nice one. But a slogan. Because in real terms, no say yes, I have plenty for food and jobs, no. It may grow, successful. Ghana. Irrespective, say, and as a regardless, so young people, and that's what young Disney. So plenty for food and jobs near successful. Ghana for you now. Let's invest in technology and help local industries and factories in Ghana. Let's produce and consume our own. Ghana, as at now, you need any economic recovery plan. Ghana wants to develop. Ghana wants to be successful. But Ghana does not have any recovery plan about one economy. Yes, the finance minister itemized or mentioned some 6 things, calling them, say, these are the pillars. So IMF disconnect by on so no more ediso. These things have been said all the time. Go and check previous budgets. Almost every finance minister has this, got the same agenda. Let's have an economic recovery plan as a nation. Once and for all, regardless, say, young people no power, saying this no power. Let's have our national plan. Sabi ye akoje loan from IMF, and now Paris Club, and now China koje bosia ba. Ubedi science say so. Na Ghana to grow until we have a strict economic recovery plan, no, the nation will not get to where we want it to get to. So let's cut off wastage and corruption. Let's have an economic recovery plan. Let's help local industries with some kind of technology. We need to improve upon technology in Ghana to help local factories and industries manufacture and produce more. Yeah, another wastage, the monies that we spend during elections. In the election year, Ghana buying budget no, a cost. And here is the case: you run to IMF to help Ghana with the BOP, the balance of payment. Yet election year dura, because we want to please the people, because we have to construct roads by force, like what is happening in Kumawu. Yeah, Kumawu kwine overnight. Inti machines is a road so. And a real and numero, there are machines on the road that juma. San election year be Ghana. Until we change that mentality. Sarasika yes no election period no. Ghana because what to make IMF sa. Cause can it be draw in let's invest in productive sectors as a nation. Let's invest in like tourism. So buying crackers as a car or Jeffrey IMF no, or the more half bay focus on tourism. It will yield benefits. You and I know says so buying crackers as a car or the more half and I 1/3. Or by investing into tourism. Ghana will reap, it will rake in, like money will come. So what are we doing? The hospitality industry. What are we doing? We can do it. It appears that we cannot do it. And that is false. Let's invest in tourism and other productive sectors. So the NBC are buying Kia Terminal 3. Until we Terminal 3, so can be a free or baby Ghana buying there. Terminal 3 is can be a very India. It goes to government of Ghana. Let's invest in productive sectors as a nation. And just we always run to IMF. We are likely to run to IMF for support all the time. And that may not augur well for us as a nation. So one thing to check as a country is say we need to invest. We need to invest in productive sectors once we are going for the IMF money. We are saying this not to come and do the tiki-taka, NDC politics, MPP politics. But what can be done as a nation? The populist policies. You better about now who policies are here. How do you fund those policies? Yemusa. How do you fund those policies? Okobusa, or your prophet of doom, or your opposition member. On Pegana ye. But populism not also. You got 10 policies I can see which I wouldn't mention names, but you know, some policies be bebredi Ghana. There was policy be on the good side and the bad side. Into the policy in bad, so weigh in. What are the bad sides? What are the good sides? So bad sides, no. If the expenditure will be so much than what Ghana will even get, or what could come in as a good policy to help Ghana, why do we force ourselves as a nation? So populism, and as a populist policies, no, I would say you're too one as a country. IMF, no, Emma Ghana long-term solution. IMF is only short-term solution, and they help you fix your balance of payment issues, your budget deficits. And then the IMF will more fixing. Near term loan. So can IMF they buy near grant, me aid employee loan. Ghana be set here. Until some money you pay long-term solutions. No? Now you forget the short-term solutions of going to IMF for them to help us with our balance of payment, our budget deficit issues. No, you better run helter skelter. There be IMF for help. COVID time. COVID the buyer Ghana ranking in almost $3 billion. Sikana year 2 mikako IMF akojeno. Yadi a friend COVID the buy, you know. Ghana had similar money. Yadi. Auditor General catch says Kano. Open home receipt to Grandpa Winya. Auditor General catch says Kano open home receipt in Baunya. Excuse me. Into COVID time, you know, Ghana had 3 billion. It's on record. Ubusa IMF, you know, World Bank. Sika Ghana and Saka from donors in Nkuano. It was almost $3 billion Nebi. Makacho said Ghana loses almost 3 billion to graft and corruption. Nti, Oko IMF for 3 billion. It might not come and solve Ghana's situation. Let's find long-term solutions. We start from somewhere and get to somewhere as a country. Let's identify or determine our long-term practical solutions as a country. IMF kono a means to an end. Your penning for and your national plan, your long-term practical solutions as a country. IMF no Ghana kono at the terms and conditions baba. And the youth must brace themselves up. Oko IMF they give you terms and conditions because they have to correct your budget deficit. They have to correct you, help you fix your BOP issues, the balance of payment. So therefore, the youth should brace themselves up for any effect that will be coming from the IMF. This is what I would like to say about the IMF deal. I wouldn't come here and do usual MPP and DC politics here. We are professing solutions. We're talking about solutions, what Ghana can do or what Ghana should do. Let's look at agriculture and agriculture value chains. Why can't we develop our value chains? Ghana, your money would be BAA, like I mentioned. Why don't we develop our value chain in the agri sector? That will create jobs, that will lead to higher productivity as a country. So IMF in Seminole, I think sir, me the basic na yahwe. So government can invest in tourism with the money coming from IMF. Ghana should invest in agriculture and agriculture value chains. Ghana should invest in the hospitality industry. Ghana should help local industries, local factories with some kind of technology. Let's leverage on this IMF deal and create some kind of businesses and other factories. Young kasa yedi nim diye ye technology be there ba buamana dey grow as a nation. Tourism can help Ghana. I would like to stop here with the IMF deal and look at the other issues. Yet the BRICS country and Ghana, the gold for oil deal. Yawaha na Ghana buying or the gold equal oil. Into Bosumi Bia, almost every week or 2 weeks Biano, it's a Ghana gold, Elecoma, Arabia for, and not those in the Middle East. Because you're here for to power engines in Ghana. So our gold for oil policies, a good policy. Yera can Japan Kasimbi. Na yenti I'll come and talk about this gold for oil deal. We will talk about gold for oil deal. IMF in sense so you reckon Japan Kasimbi about the IMF going. Let's listen to what he said so that we bring it closer to this IMF things and move on to the gold for oil policy.
Trust me. You're sitting here and you're smiling. IMF, what are we going to say again? Somebody tested me, don't say anything about IMF. Me, I shouldn't say anything about IMF. I will say it. You know, going into IMF is just like handing over power to NDC without a contest. Straight away. Because the noise we make, and I threw my own words back when I said NDC went to IMF because of mismanagement of the party, the government, or the economy. So if MPP is going to IMF, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? So breaking the 8 is going to be tough. You cannot use the face of those who took us to IMF to break the 8. They don't work. My message to you is simple. You cannot read my lips, and I'm not scared of anybody in the party. I will tell you the gospel truth. It's the gospel truth. Those who take you to IMF cannot, this same face cannot break the 8. In Latin it says, verbum sapienti satis est. A word to the wise is enough. For I'm very, very sad today when I saw the publication that we are going to IMF. You know, that is what Muhammad was praying for. He's gotten his wish. It will not be easy. It will take hard work. It will take hard work. So we should brace our say again. Trust me. You're sitting here and you are smiling. IMF, what are we going to say again? Somebody tested me. Don't say anything about IMF. Me, I shouldn't say anything about IMF. I will say it. I will say it. You know, going into IMF is just like handing over power to NDC without a contest. Straight away. Because the noise we make, and I threw my own words back when I said NDC went to IMF because of mismanagement of the party, the government.
Yeah, so these were the things that the MPP people were saying, and we will not focus on what they were saying, but we are only telling Ghanaians what Ghana should do with the IMF money.
Like when Joshua, Caleb, and 10 others. But I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation.
Yeah, so that was the finance minister for you. And they were just speaking their minds without any research, without any strict research.
Adina yajibu o mine ni ho. Elise oko IMF ko kire say minim nyansa nti mumwa me na memu man.
IMF nsa na kire.
Naga would say na kire.
That was Abronya DC. Yenti asema before that yenti asema. Yenti asema Can Japan can
Papa abandon person where you 11 no boy. There's no doubt about that. So because they say 11 year ko IMF wabodam. Hey, na me can be. No doubt about that. So because they say 11 year ko IMF wabodam. Hey, na me can be. Because I'm pempe and again prefer not dream ho.
So gold for oil deal cost for Ghana chini gold, all in the name of commodity exchange program. So you have some people come to tell you, say that is the biggest commodity exchange program Ghana has ever done. It's a sort of mine gold, not cocoa. Not something here, not cocoa, not timber, not any cash crop, and as a palm oil. Any yedi yes exchange program no. Yedi gold any year. Are there consequences? Or so manage bibi ana. Yenti asema kene Japan kai. Then I'll get back to this topic.
Come into a media can they movie say me president didn't even mechanical. Does it make sense to you? Say also gold, would you cut oil? Gold for oil. Why don't you sell your gold, make the money and go and buy the oil and go through a middleman? Me man go school. But economics in a gumitri mukeke. Man go school. Simple things that we can do. And I'm surprised. You see, we have the men. We are hailing this. We are hailing gold for oil. Jesus Christ. We need to move. Move. Come come here into media can they move me president didn't even mechanical. Does it make sense to you? So also gold, would you cut oil? Gold for oil. Why don't you sell your gold, make the money and go and buy the oil and go through a middleman? Me man go school. But economics in a gumitri mukeke. Man go school. Simple things that we can do. And I'm surprised. You see, we have the men. We are hailing this. We are hailing gold for oil. Jesus Christ. We need to move. Move.
Well, that was Canadian Japan. A compreko for you. He disagrees with MPP gold for oil policy. Many people tend to disagree with this policy. Oh, what's it when you know? Now you know come. Your friend nations be BRICS countries and are BRICS. BRICS. The B stands for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China, and the last letter S for South Africa. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. BRICS. Count and as BRICS, the BRICS. These are nations to have a simple trade block and as a market block. Trade policies are the same. And no matter you say no. Since time immemorial, they've been using the US dollar. All their reserve banks, they still use the US dollar as the reserve currency in their major banks. Then the US currency they be a major reserve in many banks or in many countries. After the Second World War, and the US for and answer the Bretton Woods institution, UK with World Bank in partnership. Yes, countries, use the dollar as their reserve currency. Until call my Ghana and answer countries are more subscribed to US foreign policies and also many US edidra bomber. Or more major reserve currency the US dollar. Yena BRICS these Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Among say no, a cripple economy. So the way to go now, they said they want to bring their own global currency. A hypothetical currency. Say omodi gold in the bay, somebody raw earth elements. Say bay crypto, something like a Bitcoin. Say bay cryptocurrency. We don't know. But this August 2023, omo kushia. Now omo disa currency in hunjuma. Omo the kind at the hunkoma. But this time around, that's money break. They want to launch their own currency. Can Ghana capitalize on this? Because dollar is high. The dollar, the city is not able to stand the dollar. Oko Argentina, or my economy is down. In Argentina for now, or more said you're gonna use the Chinese yuan. Chinese yuan no is use Argentina as their reserve currency. Some countries are serious. Argentina is now vouching for the Chinese yuan. Ghana, cedi and dollar need to say, and why are we still restricted? Why are we still fixated on the dollar as a major reserve currency? Because we are a member of Commonwealth, because we are a member of IMF, we are a member of the Bretton Woods institution and even IMF. Into Ghana, into me, and I said, Okoyisu yuan, Okoyisu any other currency, the Chinese yuan now need be used. The US dollar need be used. Excuse my language. Ghana will still be fixated on the US dollar, though it's crippling your economy. A major trade, it's always making your currency, the cedi, weak. And the alternative ni say in Ghana behwe say BRICS no, can we be a member of the BRICS? Because as I speak to you, about 40 countries have applied to be member nation of the BRICS. The BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But 40 countries would like to join the BRICS. A DNT na BRICS no for currency biaba as their major reserve currency into all reserve banks. But they can't say these countries no, these nations no edi jabum. They have a market block or a trade block, and their trade policies are almost the same. This can be like South Africa or when you in Ghana, India. India war. Who form when they joined the BRICS. China in the 90s, China was nowhere. China, an integral member of BRICS, Russia, Almighty, and Brazil. Just check these countries. But you know what? In the 90s, in the last 2 decades, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, in the last 2-3 decades, no more here. But they are members of BRICS. You heard the NT another global currency ever. One, to reduce dependency on the US dollar and other major currencies. To reduce dependency on the US dollar and other major currencies. Two, to create a unified and stable currency to foster economic growth and development. To create a unified and stable currency to foster economic growth and development. To reduce currency risk and exchange rate fluctuations. And because of say Washington DC has sanctioned a foreign policy toolkit, which is the IMF, which you go there for a loan. A foreign policy toolkit as use our currency as your major reserve currency. The BRICS think they can reduce currency rate risk and exchange rate fluctuations when they have their own global currency. And to many BRICS, they are fixated on getting a global currency. And my question is, can Ghana take advantage of this? Our cedi to the dollar ratio, no, government seems to be struggling. The NDC government struggled. The NPP government has struggled ever than any other government. Can Ghana take advantage of this global currency? The BRICS wants to initiate and get it done. What is Ghana doing? So they want to reduce currency risk and exchange rate fluctuations to create a unified and stable currency to foster development and growth and to reduce dependency on the US dollar. Omo reasons indeed on best with the global currency biba in here. But they can't catch us say after the Second World War and at the Bretton Woods institution. The Bretton Woods institution here say countries in all major reserve bank reserves. I mean major countries and I say major banks what we are saying. And use US dollar as a reserve currency and na akaho. So when you're a member of IMF, DNA, what's your member? You're gonna use the US as your major, the US dollar as your major reserve currency. Excuse me, and that is what Ghana is caught up into. I mean, we are in this because we are a member of IMF. We are in this because you still hold the policies of the IMF intact. But in strict sense, we said after Second World War, LOB share say currencies and also all major reserves banks across the world, and use US dollar as reserve currency, and abuawa and also egoso buawa. And why don't you check other nations? South Africa, China, India, Brazil, Russia, and their currency no use. And like I said, Argentina is fixated. They are just chasing the Chinese yuan as their reserve currency and not the dollar. Because on minor air form, they are still not developing using the US dollar. So Argentina is almost done, not on the verge. They are using the Chinese yuan as their reserve currency, which Omonia bring. So, there seems to be a currency revolution. There seems to be a currency revolution. Ghana can take advantage. Countries in West Africa, countries in Africa can take advantage, or countries in the third world countries can take advantage and see, say, their countries or their economies will grow. And in August, the BRICS are going to meet. This is something Final Voice TV. Also, you kind of politics, tiki-taka, do be a terminal, as if we know. You discuss ideas, you profess solutions to these emerging economies in Africa, West Africa, and the world. And the currency, now as we say, a gold backing currency, a raw earth element, a crypto kind of currency, no, and I can tell. But in August, we will know what is at stake or what these BRICS countries would like to do. But let's get back to the gold for oil thing. The same BRICS countries, no, I initiated gold-saving policy. To gold, no. These countries, no, they are fixated on buying gold. Not only this year, almost started back 3 years ago. The agenda began 3-4 years ago. To global gold, like a real gold. And don't take note, say, countries or more gold, China, eka Russia, eka India. Let me check my facts. Countries we are seeing dealing in gold. China, they are first. China is first. Japan, Switzerland, US, India, TBM China, Edikayon. Na India better so fifth. Russia to sixth. Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia. Baby a Ghana, SSA gold in the corner. Oba we are some be 8 as a 9th. Or more matter gold a go pa. Or my Ghana, nature a blessing with gold. Gold in your commodity and answer wishes a dear. See an argument in here. You can't go and cultivate gold. You can't plant gold. I idea yasha for my man. Says I do a utu na so polish here and how to rock run so the quote a man send German so obet me aton anyeska. Gold is not like cocoa. Gold is not like palm oil or orange or coffee. Gold is not like timber. Obet me be say, oh, in the next 80 years or 100 years time, Ghana will still have timber to sell or to use. Gold is different. Bauxite and manganese, they are all different. Now can pass gold in body a strong a ornament and answer commodity. Or maybe here. China, Japan, Switzerland, US, India, Russia, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Singapore, Brazil, Germany, China much gold. Now yet then now maybe to say Ghana out me and back on a commodity exchange program say also say gold and they call oil. How? Yanfa cocoa anko. Yanfa box like lesser mineral be to say be manganese and a bauxite in anko. Yanfa palm oil and have fruits be like orange or pineapple in excess. Yanfa other raw material be anko, but gold and home bet makwache. Gold bet massa. Tuana ye galam say tuana monfo to gold. Illegal mining, small scale mining, deep mining the cost. A time may come gold won't buy a ding. Yes, Matisse gold reserve in Ghana has increased from 8 tons to 14 tons. If not for this gold for oil policy, I was saying you all bear 19 tons by now. If not for this gold for oil policy, Ghana, any oil countries need deal now. I was saying tonnage, like it mean more, not 14 tons as the government of Ghana announced. Or Mampagina go forward. That kind of 4 days ago. I was by now, in Ghana gold reserves are moving from 8 to somewhere 19 or 20. Countries na 8 to go because one, gold na a commodity. Though the prices na fluctuate. By NT some Financial Times. Financial Times, oh, be careful gold. The entire these countries na 8 to gold go. I have in my hand Financial Times reports. You can Google gold is up and dollar down. Gold is up and dollar down. Financial Times story. On by May 2nd, 2023. May 2nd, 2023. Gold is up and dollar down. So what take headline look right? I didn't also see your film. O major reserve currency a dollar. Nyamia chawadi your gold. Gold in your top. Ane. All the comments say German so your top. Ane. Yenti Financial Times said the prime example is gold. The prime example today is gold. Up 20% in 6 months. Reserve banks are purchasing more lots of gold now than at any time given that information starts in 1950. Financial Times says since 1950. Maybe see that's how global countries, these countries, major countries, Germany, Brazil, Singapore, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Russia, India, US, Switzerland, Japan, China. Oh, China no much gold, China no much gold. Besides the DNT. Financial Times said, sir, 20% in 6 months now. Reserve banks now are increasing by 20% now. Or say it presently represents a record 33% of month-to-month worldwide need for gold. Presently represents a record 33% of month-to-month worldwide need for gold. Into gold, adebesa. Government will come, government will go. World countries will still need gold. World countries can ignore US dollars. But gold is ornamental. People need gold for their watches, their rooms, their machines, and what have you. For decorations. And they are ornamental. Gold is ornamental. Daily, any paper biato. And the Financial Times reported in May. So month to month, worldwide need for gold are increasing by 33%. And since 1950, gold ton cost so sad that the last 6 months, these countries are less than that. You will still see China, India, Russia, Germany, Singapore, Hong Kong. These people, Saudi Arabia now, yes, say gold, they are also buying gold, storing gold. Into any good economic policy. India, China, South Korea, Singapore, Brazil, Germany. These countries are buying the gold. And the issue is Ghana or any good economic policy. Trust me. Yes, say gold and got the oil. They didn't ask for gold, cocoa. They did the oil countries didn't ask for timber. But gold didn't know. Now gold ye bia. And gold na what the bia and we need to think. This community exchange program, one day it will come back to hunt us. One day it will come back to hunt us as a nation. Because ye giant thinking a good policy. It came to save us. No. It's going to have a toll on us as a people of a nation. Somebody should remind this government, the NPP government, said they should review, they should check the gold for oil policy. Somebody should sit the government down, the finance minister, the vice president, the president of Ghana. So one day, gold will have a toll on us. They should not be deceived. Say, you increase tonnage, the tons of gold from 8 to 14. So it's like it's good for Ghana. No. Another major question is, Ghana or 3 oil fields. Can't we lift more barrels? In the end, and as a Ghana, a net importer. Who are 3 oil fields? On your fuel free one. But still, Ghana's are craft fuel. Because fuel no yet no Ghana na Ghana for there. And nipa bi te me bopot na se. Di o man na wu. So Ghana ye 2 oil, the first oil field in Ghana chafa 3%. The other 2 fields so the same. Ghana in Ricky match. In the end, Ghana is a net importer of oil. But the fact is, can we lift more oils from these oil fields? Probably the more we lift more oils from these oil fields, Ghana can get more revenue. Ghana can get enough oil to power engines in Ghana. Are you getting my point? So the gold for oil policy is a scam. It must be reviewed. It must be checked. And if possible, cancelled. Let's check other substitutes like, will these countries take timber? Will these countries take cocoa or any lesser mineral like manganese or copper or any other? But gold, dear, a mineral attempt or maybe in here, a mineral attempt be a bias and as individuals in here. Some do buy ornaments. So the best yes you yes is a petrol back. This is my point. So what says here, this is Final Voice TV. What much are you doing? To me, the gold for oil policy is needless. Ghana's gold for oil policy is so needless, and we can stop it now. It's needless. So needless. Gold for oil can be checked. This is Final Voice TV. Or you can watch, subscribe to this channel on YouTube. So or Facebook, just follow us and like us, and you will come your way with more stories like this. We've proved to you why countries are buying gold. We've proved to you what the BRIC countries seek to do. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And countries like almost 40 countries have applied to join the BRICS. Can Ghana join the BRICS for growth and development? Yeah, sure, the entire BRICS ECOFA global currency biaba. Can Ghana take advantage of it as a nation? The discussion between the gold for oil policy is needless, and government of Ghana should review. The government of Ghana should sit up and review this policy, because it doesn't have any major effect in the long term. In the long term, Ghana will lose. Ghana will search for gold and will not get the gold. The day until you will gold, now you to check. The until you will gold, now if you see any the biggest commodity exchange program ever in Africa. This should be reviewed. This should be reviewed. I mean, wow, we yet the quad for our begging the Caribbean and say that this policy ought to be reviewed. And Ghana should save more gold than dispatching or sending more gold out of the country. Because there is going to be a major war. I mean, there could be major crisis than what we are going through. And that is when in Chirimano, the next generation can say, it's a Ghana will gold into Yengi being cotton. What am I saying? In Chirimano, some 50 years, 80 years, 100 years time. 150 years time, now Ghana must store more gold. That's how much, but that time maybe you didn't have more forest because of climate change. You didn't have more produce because of climate change, and therefore Ghana must go and import food or whatever. That is when the science human, but my use gold in it. But as it stands now, you want 3 oil fields, be a coso, you was sassy out with no money. All we need to do is to check the wastage in the system, the corruption. All we can do is to lift more barrels from the 3 oil fields. And Ghana should not be a net importer of oil, but net exporter of oil. Let's do more prospecting. Keep that oil, like what you're saying. Ghana want 3 oil fields. Baku Keta. Right. Ghana can extract oil from Keta. Akosi saying, why can't we lift more oils than say ye best say gold akoche? It doesn't. It doesn't sound like, it doesn't make straight sense. As a people of the nation, and the government of Ghana can review this policy today and tomorrow, and seek for something better for Ghana. This is Final Voice TV. This is where I would like to end today's show, and come your way sometime, probably tomorrow. So what you can do is to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Final Voice TV, or Meet Charles Show on YouTube, and also who Facebook says, what you can do is to follow us and like this page. Madam Ase.